Welcome to the Downside Patreon. We're waiting on a special guest who hopefully is going to swing by to share a downside story. We will have a name. Oh my God, and they're here.
Whoa, here right
Lucas, thank you for joining us. Can you hear us?
Sorry for the wait. I can hear you.
No,
you
it's fine. Yeah, we can hear you great. This was just a new thought I had because I was with Tovah last night, and at the end of every night we do our Lucas check-in and how's it going, and she said dramatic Lucas, tell us what happened.
Yeah, it's been a pretty long week. So my apartment has like a little roof deck that's private for us, and behind it there's like a gate, and then there's like a roof deck for everyone, and then there's like a low wall, and then our building's like attached to the neighboring two buildings. So the back portion of our roof is like unfinished. It's not like landscaped or nice or anything, so no one really goes up there. So usually at night we take our dog to pee out there, and our whole roof area, there are like places that a dog could get off the roof. But we've been living at this place for 6 months. We take our dog out 5 times a day. She sometimes like looks through, like we have planters that block the edge of our roof.
Yeah.
And we know she can jump higher than the planters, but sometimes she'll like poke her head out through the fence that's blocking the edge of the roof, and she looks down. And so like we've had the conversation of like, could she get off the roof technically? But like, would she? She's like a dog, so we like hope not. And I was out there with her Tuesday night, and I was like working out, and I was just letting her wander around, and she wandered around where she usually goes and pees, and then I heard like a bang and some screams, and I honestly thought it was like a garbage truck and homeless people or whatever, I thought it was like New York City sounds. And then like a minute later, I was like hearing more screaming, and I started to walk around, and I realized my dog jumped off the roof.
Oh my
Which is
God.
about a little bit less than 100 feet. It's 5 stories in an old Soho building. So, and our stories are more than 10 feet. They're like 15, sometimes 20 feet stories. The bottom one, ours is a little lower. So I couldn't look over the edge because I was like, I just took my eyes off my dog and she's dead. Like 100%. Yeah. There was no question in my mind. Like I've looked over that edge. It's like it's a suicide level of height. Like without question.
If you wanted to kill yourself, you could do it from your roof.
Easily.
Yeah.
And I've thought about it.
Yeah.
And I thought about it after that for sure.
So
I was like, should I just follow her? And basically, so I was in shock. This is like, there's parts of the story that are funny, but this just happened, and we are kind of having trouble seeing the humor in it.
That's what we're. Yeah.
This is the downside. Other than that, well, okay, I'll keep telling you the story as it happened. If you want, you can interrupt.
Yeah, please.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, I can't look over the edge, and I could see into our building because like our bedroom is sort of like poking out of the roof deck. So like, if you're standing on our roof deck, you can see into our bedroom. And I could see my girlfriend, who like, I love my dog more than anything, but she's like, every night that I'm on tour, she's with our dog one-on-one. So they have like an extra special bond. And I could see her watching TV, and I was like, I just never want to tell her. Like, I just want her to be able to stay but she had heard me yelling the dog's name, and not in like a comeback way, more in like a where are you way. And she luckily, like, she pretty much immediately just kind of sensed what had happened. So I never had to say what happened, which I was sort of incapable of doing. So and by the way, what I was going to say is our dog is dead. I wasn't going to say anything other than that.
Yeah.
And the neighbors, who were all so amazing, started yelling, and they were like, hey, your dog's alive. So my first thought was that she had fallen from our roof onto the fire escape. So I ran downstairs and I ran onto the fire escape because I was like, there's no way she could survive the full fall. So I ran onto the fire escape.
Were you filled with hope for a second? Like, did you have a moment of like, oh my God, yes, it's okay? Like, were you?
They were on the ground yelling, she's alive. I wasn't really thinking yet. I was like, my body felt like cold, and I pride myself on like handling intense situations calmly, but in this scenario, I couldn't process it because the amount of guilt I still feel. I mean, we both take our eyes off of her up there. I mean, never again. Like, we're gonna build way taller fencing and or not bring her or keep her on a leash and all those things. But like, I wasn't really able to like reckon with what was happening. But they were like, she's alive. So I went to the fire escape, and when I went to the fire escape, I saw that she had fallen all the way to the ground. But she was like totally, I mean, I expected like a splattered dog, and she was totally in one piece. So as soon as I saw her, and she looked just like my dog, I was like, holy shit. So I got in the elevator. My girlfriend got in the elevator. She couldn't go out there because I still assumed she was dying. So I was like holding her in my hands. There were probably like 10 neighbors around me. Apparently my girlfriend was like, one of them was filming you, which I was like, okay. I didn't even notice. Like, I was just... Yeah,
we'll add that footage in while you're talking to you now.
Yeah.
That's great.
I was just holding her in my arms. And
oh my God, Lucas.
They were like, you need to get her to the hospital. She was just panting. She wasn't like... By the time I got there, apparently she had been crying, but she wasn't like crying. She was just panting, and I was like holding her in my arms. And the neighbors like took our phone, and then like this woman was like, you need to get a blanket, because I guess they figured she had broken her legs, and apparently when an animal breaks their legs, they can be like more likely to bite you. So they were like, you need to get a blanket to cover her head. So they were like, you need to come with us. So they started like ushering us around and doing all these things for us. This woman, like, she was like, you got to go to get a blanket. As soon as I got back in the elevator to go up and get some things for her to go to the hospital, I immediately became like hysterical. Like it hit me, everything that had happened. So I start like crying hysterically, and I'm just like, I can't even explain it, but I just feel the worst ever. And then like this woman comes and meets me. It's like still kind of foggy to me exactly how it all went down.
When you got to the floor, did you know where your dog had fallen and what had happened? Did you see it? So you didn't see like what? Yeah.
It wasn't clear to me. She was just in the curb. So she was on the ground on the street, but I still wasn't really thinking at that point.
Yeah.
So she's like asking me all these questions because I'm like sobbing, and she's like, what is your dog's name? And I'm like, Mars. And she's like, why did you name her that? And in my head, I'm also like, I know what you're doing right now. I know you're doing that tactic where you ask me a lot of questions to make me feel better. And it's like, I feel patronized, but I was still like, I knew she was being kind. So I was still like playing along. I was like, we named her because she looks like the Mars candy bar.
I
got back downstairs, and they had called an emergency vet for us. They had called us an Uber. They had fashioned a stretcher made out of cardboard and put her on it. And The Uber came. We picked her up on like this cardboard box that had been like folded together for her. We put her in the back, and I got in the back holding her. I think like I just got in first, and so my girlfriend was in the front, and we were. So she's like, I figure she's dying, so I'm holding her, and she's like bleeding on me and panting, and I'm just trying to keep her awake. The Uber driver is like on a really casual phone call, and he's putting he's putting in his credit card number to make like a purchase of some sort. So
I've done an Uber ride with a dog having a seizure that killed it, and the Uber driver was just driving a little too casual, and you're just like, come on, like this dog is dying in your backseat. You've got to go.
I didn't, to be honest, I still thought, I don't know what I wasn't really thinking, but I just heard him being like, 3, 1, no, 3, 1.
D as in dog.
Yeah.
D as in dead dog.
Yeah. And so at some point I was like, we have an emergency with our dog. If you could please just as fast as you can get us there, we would really appreciate it. And we got there really quickly. We probably got there to the place we were going, which is Blue Pearl on 15th, between 5th and 6th. And they took such good care of her. We got there probably in like 10 minutes. They were waiting at the door for her. They took her downstairs, and they were like, listen, she's probably not going to make it. No, they said, we don't know. We can't promise anything, but we need to do an x-ray and everything. And so they did an x-ray. So she had internal bleeding that was worsening. She had 2 collapsed lungs. We believe she still has some kind of spinal cord injury, although she has feeling in both of her legs. But the craziest part is she had no broken bones, and she had no head injury. Which is like, if I think about like the anatomy of a dog, I'm like, how could you fall without breaking? I'm like, where would you land such that you don't break any bones and you don't hit your head? Yeah. I'm like, all you are is bones and head. So I'm like, how do you break neither? So that night we still didn't have a bunch of confidence that she would live, because we didn't know what the situation was with the internal bleeding. And they basically said you might have to do a blood transfusion, then you might have to do surgery if she's not clotting on her own. So we sort of just gave them license to do whatever they wanted to do, whatever they thought she needed. And overnight, she just started clotting immediately. And she just didn't need a transfusion or anything like that. That was Tuesday night. By Wednesday morning, they were like, she's doing much better. She's walking. Throughout Wednesday, they tapped so lungs have like negative pressure. I've learned a lot about medicine. They're like, lungs have negative pressure, so if a lung collapses, that actually means that air can sometimes leak in, which is a problem because the way that lungs draw air in is that they're completely deflated, so they pull on negative pressure to fill with air. So if air is in the lungs before they're pulling with air, it makes it hard to breathe. So she had air in her lungs, so they had to do what's called a lung tap to get that out. But once they got the air out, they did not refill with air, meaning that's on track to resolving itself. So that's like a blunt force trauma injury rather than like a puncture. So she was breathing back to normal. By Wednesday night, they were like, we think we can admit her tomorrow. By Thursday morning, she was eating and walking. This is less than 48 hours after she fell off a building. And I can show you the building, because this is one of the funny things that happened. They just didn't believe the height of our building because she was as okay as she was. So they kept
yeah.
in all the reports they kept saying dog apparently fell
They're like-
from 75-foot building, and then one
They
of
put
the
it in
doctors,
quotes.
yeah, what.
They're like, your real estate agent lied to you about the height of your ceilings. There's no way it's that tall.
Yeah. And then on one of the doctors, we had a few doctors, all of them were great, but one of the doctors was like, yeah, if she really did fall off that building, this is a miracle. And we're like, yeah, as opposed to what? So by Thursday night, which was last night, we were able to bring her home. She's home now, which is why I was late, because it's still, we're still like all eyes on her.
Yeah.
But like we woke her up this morning in her crate, and I'm still at the point where like, we're keeping her with a cone on her head because she has some wounds. So I'll tell you how she survived. But I'm still like nervous to see her every morning and make sure she's like breathing.
Of course.
But she like woke up, she was like wagging her tail and licking us, and she's walking around the house. I mean, we have a little sling for her so she can get up and down the stairs easily. It's going to take about probably 4 weeks until hopefully she's back to herself. The way that she survived was she fell on the back of a Jeep Grand Cherokee. There's never any cars that park on our street, but this car was parked right in front of our house, like pretty close to the hydrant, actually, on an empty street. It's like a no parking most of the day, but you can park like overnight if you pick it up really early. Apparently, like, we found out who it was, but it was like our across the street neighbor, and he's like, my side of the street's never busy, but I parked on your side of the street. He's like, I've lived here for 6 years. I've never parked on your side of the street. She fell in the back of the car compressed, the back window shattered. And I guess that cushioned her fall enough that she was able to survive.
That's crazy.
Which is like, and all at the hospital, they were like asking for pictures of our building, asking for pictures of the car, because they're just like, we don't want to, they were like, this is the most incredible and miraculous case we've ever had, given a pet like falling from any height. I mean, when we were in the hospital, I was hoping, I've been looking things up, but only sporadically, because if you hear what you want to hear, it's great. Like, for example, I looked up, do dogs heal faster than humans? They do. So I was like, awesome. But one of the things I looked up was how far can a dog fall? And it said, the first answer goes, a dog can break its leg from falling off a bed. And I was like, okay, well, shouldn't have looked that up.
I think this would be a great ad for Jeep Grand Cherokee. Just like,
yeah.
Well, then the guy, it's all Soho. So these guys are like, it's all characters of people. And this guy, and I'm going to have to go in a second, actually, because I got to get to
that's fine.
My podcast. Shout out my podcast, Mommy Issues.
Yeah. Check it out.
Where I'll be talking about this probably more at length. But
we'll add link in comments. Check it out. It's on YouTube. It's great.
Yeah, it's only on YouTube right now, but it's new. But this guy named Paul, he was like, we left a note on his car. We left a note that said, our dog fell off the roof onto your car. And so obviously it was like the craziest note. We obviously thought he was just like, no, you broke into my car. But
yeah.
But he apparently was like in his building when this happened, so he was kind of made aware of it. And he was really sweet. He was like, how's your dog? I was like, your car saved our dog's life. And he was like, I'm so glad to hear that. Obviously I'm gonna send you the bill. I was like, yeah, obviously we're gonna send you the bill. He apparently thought we didn't leave a note, and so he was like kind of freaking out and like threatening to like sue us. And we were like, listen, like, I will take care of whatever happened. We were just so grateful your car was there, because without your car, our dog is dead. So she's on track to make a full recovery, as crazy as that is to say. It's definitely day by day. Still, she's not, she fell off a building, so she looks like a living thing that fell off a building, which is to say, like, she's very slow to get up and walk around, but we are so lucky.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm so glad.
Yeah, I'm so
she's okay. And
I couldn't make it funnier for you. It's still pretty fresh.
No. It's fine. When you leave, we'll start roasting it, and at least you have the finances to do that DNA clone thing if it doesn't work out. But wishing you the best.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing with us. I'm so glad.
Appearance on the downside without talking about my family's wealth, but we snuck it in under the wall.
Listen, after that post-election episode, I said we need to bring Lucas on in a sympathetic light, and I think we did it. Do you want to shout out anyone people should be voting for in the primaries? Any of the billionaires running that are actually good?
Am I unbanned from the downside, or should I still not come on due to my post-election centrist take on us reaching across the aisle when, in fact, the Trump administration did kind of become Nazis and start killing our own citizens in the streets months later? Guys, thank you for having me.
Take care. Watch Lucas's podcast. Thanks, man.
You're listening to The Downside.
The Downside.
With Gianmarco Soresi.